Previously, we discussed ECRs and ECOs. ECRs are engineering change requests which are made by anyone a part of the production of a product after the product has been released for production. This is done after because once a product is released for production, then that part is being made. If you need to make a change, then there is going to be two versions of that part out there in the world. If you make a change before it's released to production, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do an ECR and you don't have to submit an ECO. This is only for after the product has been released to production. So ECRs can be made by anyone that was a part of the production process. This is designers, manufacturers, quality people, marketing. Anybody can do an ECR, and then they all meet together. Everyone who was a part of that design meets together and approves to get an ECO, which is an engineering change order. This is the actual acting document which will mandate the change be made, the revision be made to whatever part of the product needs to be changed due to a design flaw or a missing of the customer requirement, what have you. Something needs to change when an ECO is created. It's usually the designer that has to make the ECO happen in the design software, in the drawings, and in the design models. So what I'm going to show you how to do is how to do that working in SOLIDWORKS. When you have a part and a drawing, how can you enact an engineering change order? So to get started, let's download the practice files from Canvas. And this is going to be a zip folder. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. This is going to be a zip folder, so we will extract these files. We'll click on extract all because we know we can't really do anything with these files until we extract them. So we'll extract. A new folder pops up with my extracted files. The first thing we're going to look at is this PDF file. This is the engineering change order in formal writing. So if I look at this, I see a formal border or a formal header, engineering change order. This is just one that I made for our college. A project number, a drawing title, a date, an ECO number, and then a description of the problem. What's the problem? So we have this block and pin assembly, and the problem is the MMC, the maximum material condition of the pin, was too large to allow easy assembly of the block, leading to an increase in assembly time. The solution is to decrease the MMC of the pin by 0.02 of an inch. It's assigned by me. It's to be completed today. So that's the request, to decrease the MMC of the pin by 0.02 of an inch. We're going to go into the part model and part drawing to do that. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to open up the part first. Okay, I'm going to open up the part, and I can double click on one of these features to find the dimensions, and there is the MMC of the pin at 2. This is the thing that we're going to change. So instead of 2, we need to decrease it by 0.02, which would put this at 1.998. And there was no request to change the tolerance, so we're going to keep the tolerance as it is. If it had said to change the LMC of the pin, then we would be changing the tolerance value instead of the nominal value shown here, which is the MMC of the pin, because there is a plus nothing tolerance here. So this is an MMC, so that's what we changed. If it said LMC, then we would be changing this. Does that make sense? So once that's changed here, I can go back into my files. Where were those files at? I think this is where they are. And now I'm going to open up the drawing. Now we haven't talked about drawings yet. We may or we may have not, but this is a pretty easy thing that we're going to do in the SOLIDWORKS drawing. And note that the dimension changed automatically. I did not have to change it. In the drawing, that changed automatically. What we need to do with the drawing is add a revision note. As you might remember reading about revision notes, they need to be made on the drawing to let everyone know that there's been a revision to this part. So how we do that is we go up to Tables on the Annotation tab. We go to Revision Table. We get a Revision Table Property Manager where we could set up, our revision symbol shapes and a bunch of other stuff that doesn't matter. But we're just going to leave it all default, hit the green check mark, and a table appears at the top. Now, no revision has been added yet. As you can see, the table is empty. Okay? So, how we will add a revision is we'll go to the lower left corner where there's this little arrow with a B on it, and if I hover over it, it says click to add a revision. I'm going to click that. Then my table grows and I have a little icon next to my cursor. This is the revision icon, which I will put right next to where I put the revision. This is going to be revision A because it is the very first revision that I've made to this part. So I'll confirm the revision symbol, and there's an A there now. And in the table, under description, I'm going to type in all caps, decreased the MMC of the pin by 0.02 of an inch. Maybe I'll put a period and say was 2.000. And now here I'll say changed from 2.000 to 1.998. There we go. And if you wanted to put who the revision was by, you can add a table here. You can say right click and then go to insert and say column to the right or column to the left. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do it to the right. I'm going to type by. It's just who the revision was made by, and then I'll put my initials and call that good. Okay? If you want to change the format of this table in any way, you can go, or if you want to change the size, you can go downward, push these in so that there's more room. If this was a little bit more complicated of a drawing, we would add something called a revision cloud. That is up here. A revision cloud, we would put it around where we made our revision, so that it's very clear where that revision is. Okay? Now if I rebuild this and save it, I'll save all. You'll note that an A has appeared in the revision box of the title block. This is denoting that, hey, this drawing has been changed, and now the part number for this part, it's now going to be 206L901 underscore ECR demo dash A. Say this is the revised part, because remember, there's parts of the original out there in the customer's hands, so we have to document that there's two versions now. There's two versions. So when we're finished with that, we can save this and we can pack and go it, and that's all she wrote. We'll pack and go into a zip folder.